Mr. DJ Rose, Vert Jeezy, and C's. Welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and settle land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell our land. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.
No More Black Tears Radio, No More Black Tears podcast. We back in it another week, another day, another dollar. You know what I'm saying? C's and C's, Vert Jeezy, Mr. DJ Rose, shout out Juice Man. What's going on, fellas?
What's good, people?
Hey, what's up, everybody, man? So, you know, it was some tragic events that happened last week, depending on your perspective on it. So, you know, right-winger, conservative, Charlie Kirk was killed last week speaking at a college campus. He was shot in the neck by a sniper. The person who sniped him has been caught, Tyler Robinson. We don't really know too much details about his personal life. There's been a lot of different reports on why he might have did it, from him having a trans girlfriend, him coming from a wealthy family, you know, being a college student, and all this other stuff. All we do know is he was murdered, and there was a lot of strong opinions on both sides about it. Some of the things that Charlie Kirk has been known to say, he said gay people should be stoned to death. Most people are scared when they see a black pilot flying a plane because they don't feel like they're qualified. Taylor Swift should reject feminism, submit to her husband. No one should be allowed to retire. Leftists should not be allowed to move to red states. British colonialism was what made the world decent. The guy who assaulted the Pelosi should be bailed out. Religious freedom should be terminated. Multiple black politicians stole white people's spots. MLK was just an awful person. He talked about George Floyd and said that George Floyd died of an overdose, not of police violence, and that the January 6th protesters, you know, should be free. He said the Civil Rights Act of the 60s was a huge mistake. And then there was plenty of other stuff, and most notably, a lot of people was talking about his views on Palestine, saying he do not recognize what's happening in Palestine as genocide. C's, man, what's your thoughts on the Charlie Kirk situation?
Yo, we started off, man. Hey, I seen that video, the real video. Damn, that was a good shot. Shit, that shit was some video game shit, man. Like, he had no chance.
Yeah, hey, my bad. And one more quote, just this for the black women. He also said black women do not have the brain, processing power to be taken seriously.
Yeah, but like you said, C's and C's, like, Buddy been practicing. Buddy was practicing. He wasn't that guy that shot at Trump.
Nah, they were the same dude.
It was real. This was real.
Yeah,
but go ahead, C's.
And then, you were murdered by your own kind, basically. Like how you say, people say black on black crime. This is literally white on white crime. And one of the most, I would say, right-wing states, because Mormons just recently have tried to recruit more and open up themselves to communities. Because before it was like, besides college-age kids in Utah, they were the only ones that were like open to anything. Just like, I think it was a couple years ago when they finally had a, non-athletes at BYU, Brigham Young University. And that's a motherfucker though. Do your history on the Mormons and their whole history. But I mean, they tried to say it was like some Indian or Middle Eastern Arabic dude that did it, or an immigrant. So you see all these different theories. And then the governor of Utah, you are a dickhead. This dude sat there and said, I prayed it was somebody else. I prayed they were from another state. I prayed there was an immigrant or somebody black. In so many words, but he did say some fucked up shit where he said, I prayed it was from another state. It wasn't from our state. So I was like, so you're not disappointed by this guy dying in your state. You're disappointed at who did it. And I was telling Verteezy on the way to the pod last week, or it was some event we did last week. But I was telling I was an inside job. This nigga was a sacrificial lamb. He was a place marker. This shit is a political hit. I'm gonna sound like the Black Alex Jones, the nigga from InfoWars. Conspiracy theory. This nigga was a sacrificial lamb for this shit. Like, because you see the reactions. White men in the street talking about fight back, fight back. They had a whole rally in London, England. White people in the street talking about fight back, fight back.
Who they gonna fight back?
I don't know. Okay, apparently, the same thing we have going on in America with immigration is the same thing going on in England. They're saying we're being overrun by...
of white people? Of rich white people?
Nah.
They need to fight back the rich white people?
They said the rich white people are leaving because it's so fucked up and taxes are high. But it's like, your government did this shit, not the people they let in. So, I mean, it's white flight. White people are scared. And people are talking about, oh, I seen one of the perfect memes describing shit. She said, oh, I've been in a coma since the pandemic. What's going on in the last couple of years? Apparently there was a race war that I knew nothing about. What's going on, y'all?
I don't know nothing about
That's
it.
What I'm saying. It's like imaginary shit y'all got going on in your head. And it's like,
because we don't have no problem with any other race. If anything, we're trying to help y'all. Help everyone. We're for the people. Especially this pod. This pod is for the people.
But I mean, it literally split people down the middle. Like, I seen people that usually don't say anything political, and they're talking about not even political. They just say if you rejoice or you make fun of a man dying in front of his kids, something's wrong with you. We laugh at people dying all the fucking time. Are you serious? In my generation, this fucking the shit we talk about every day, joke about with our friends and our family and memes we share is some of the most disgusting, trifling bullshit that I've seen in my life. So get out of here with that shit. And then the only thing I was like, damn, that's crazy to see you die in front of your kid. And then his wife came out and said, hey, I'm gonna keep his movement going strong. So fuck you too, bitch. And when I said RIP, I was not talking about, when I said last week, I said RIP. The episode from last week, it will be coming in this week. Don't worry, people, I got you. I said RIP. That could be rest in peace, or it could be rest in piss. I don't know how you want to take it. I was like, hey, it's whatever. The way you live, I guess you died how you said you wanted to, basically, man. That's my biggest sentiment.
Yeah, man. This situation was crazy because I remember I was on the phone with MGH literally when the news broke that he was shot and killed. Literally, when I saw it, I saw on Facebook he died. He was dead. That's what I saw. No details. And it said Charlie Kirk dead at 31. I was shocked because I was like, damn, 31. He probably was in good shape. Like, he had some disease I didn't know about. Then crossed my mind he got assassinated or murdered. Looked online. Oh, he got shot. Utah campus. Like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Me and MJ went back to we probably talked about it for 5 minutes, went back to our normal little conversation because he was not an imprint on my life. When I got online and just saw how many people were celebrating, didn't think nothing about it. When I saw how many people was crying over it, I was like, damn, people really impacted our lives like that. Then I saw black people trying to take the high ground with other black people and make black and white people feel bad for celebrating the man's death. And I just thought that was kind of weird. And it became a conversation all week about, oh, we shouldn't be celebrating death. This can happen to anybody. This can happen to any influencer and creator. Shout out to, creators like John Cannon and Dana Dane who was saying that this can happen to anybody. And shout out to Deontay Kyle from the Grits and Eggs podcast who responded to John Cannon and said, nah, bro, I'm not a bitch like you. I'm not afraid. I just feel like the minute that you start voicing your opinions, some people may not agree with this, you need to be prepared for whatever's going to come with that. We started this podcast a little over 3 years ago, and we've had a lot of takes that I've had people DM us about, not hateful stuff, but like, damn, I can't believe I said that. And for me personally, I cannot speak for Rose and I cannot speak for C's. I stand on anything I've said on this podcast. I stand on that shit. And if I said something that I felt like was the betterment of my people, and it gets to the point where somebody feels like they need to bring harm to me for that shit, then I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm afraid now. It is what it is. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. I just think it's crazy that it's just so many people that's mad at other people for how they feel about a Charlie Kirk situation, because you cannot spew hate. You cannot speak hate. I mentioned the quotes he said before we started talking about him. A lot of that stuff is hate. And a lot of times people say, well, it was just words. And I think what people don't understand is when we give our opinion on this podcast, you know, you may not like some of the stuff we say about the alphabet community. You may not like some of the stuff we say about the white community. You may not like some of the stuff we say about like people that are mentally challenged, because we make jokes about some of the stuff. But I can tell you right now, this is one of the few times I can speak for more than myself. Rose, C's, Juiceman, and Verteezy, the stuff that we say is not coming from a place of hatred. We are not saying this stuff because we hate these groups of people and we want harms to come from these groups of people. In fact, I can pull up many clips on the pod where we've actually said, yo, you can live your life or whatever. Charlie Kirk was spewing hate. And when you spew hate, the issue with that is it becomes to the point you rallying other people. And when you start rallying other people, you can create movements, you can create harm to other people. We saw what happened January 6th when Trump did what he did with that group of people. He rallied a group of people to do harm to other white people. So the stuff that Charlie Kirk says, and we're going to get to this in the pod, it's not a coincidence that we got 2 African Americans that's been hung in this country in the same state. That's not a coincidence, especially when you know the history of the state they were hung in. It's not a coincidence that the very next day after the shooting, what they had to do, is they had to shut down 3 HBCUs because of threats they was receiving. Because that means this man's words had power. This man, you can say that he probably was him and Joe Rogan were 2 of the biggest people who had microphones that influenced this past presidential election. The stuff that he was advocating for, the stuff that he was saying, this man said if his daughter got raped, he would make his daughter have his rapist baby. Like, he said that. So what do you think he thinks about your daughter? Like, the stuff that he was advocating for is affecting people's lives. A lot of the stuff that most people who go online and talk shit about, that's not affecting your life, bro. Like, my opinion on the Falcons is not affecting your fucking life. My opinion is saying I don't want to deal with someone that's trans, that's not affecting your life. I'm not saying that trans people need to be stoned. I'm not saying trans people need to be murdered. This man says stuff like that. And if you cannot understand the difference, that's the issue. Because when I bring up names like Breonna Taylor, Sonia Massey, Elijah McClain, we just celebrated the passing of his death, Trayvon Martin. When I bring up these names, Michael Gardner, when I bring up these names of black people that's been murdered the last 10 years by police officers and by just regular other black people, I can't think of his name, but the black boy in Valdosta that they just found out that, yo, we're going to reopen his case and it's not a suicide. They found him rolled up in a fucking mat and they thought that was, and they tried to rule it a suicide. When I bring up this stuff, I don't never see white people online with tears. I only see black faces with tears.
Just to run something back, that case of Valdosta, I was actually living down there when that case happened. I was home on a weekend when it dropped. So if you don't remember, I don't remember the guy's name, but they literally found him wrapped up in the bleachers in a mat with his organs missing, but it's still a closed case. I don't know how that happens without some funny things going on. Also, one quote you missed out, he called, what was the guy who died in Minnesota?
George Floyd.
George Floyd. He called him literally verbatim, a scumbag. He doesn't know this man from any, like, the dude just died. You just verbatim call him a scumbag. You don't know this man. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, and the teen that died of overdose was Kendrick Johnson. And my point is, when I see white people crying online about Charlie Kirk passing, I don't have no issue with that. My issue is when I see black people that, and even white people that are happy that he passed, and then you have other people that want to, signal more stuff saying that y'all are wrong for that. That's where my issue comes in at, because I've seen white people these last 10 years try to justify black people being murdered. I've seen white people say that they should not have done this, they should have done that. So the fact that I don't see y'all getting upset when these black people get murdered. I see y'all try to find ways to do it. And I was talking to TJ Mufasa about it. I said, this ain't no new shit the last 10 years. You can go back to the 90s. You can go back further than that, but we can just go back to the 90s. We can go back to the 90s where Rodney King was beaten up, the police got off, white people celebrated. O.J. Simpson did what he did, got off, white people cried, and black people celebrated. It's always been divided like that. I hear people saying, I feel sorry for his kids. I feel sorry for his kids too, because I'm a human being. But at the same time, I got to see his question. And did y'all feel that way about Medgar Evers' wife and his kids when he got shot in his driveway in front of his little girls? Did y'all feel sorry for him? Did y'all feel sorry for Fred Hampton's woman that was pregnant when she saw FBI put a bullet in this man's head and she's pregnant with his kid? Y'all make it seem like, niggas ain't never died in front of their families before. Did y'all feel sad for Dr. King's little girls? That when he got murdered and they had to find out we're gonna glorify that? Did y'all feel good fat sad for Malcolm X? Who the daughters had to glorify him, and he was a big family man. At the end of the day, y'all not the only ones who kids got to deal with this shit. We've been dealing with this shit not just for the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. We've been dealing with this shit for over 400 fucking years, because we can go back to slavery when families was being broken up, sold to different plantations, and all kind of other stuff. We got to start having more compassion for one another. You cannot expect black people to have tears for y'all when over the last, and I'm just going to stick to the last 10 years, where I have not seen white people have tears for black people.
Yeah, so if it was tears or no tears, the only tears I would have would be from, like you said, I do have tears that he got murdered in front of his kid, like his kid had to see, or his kid had to see that. Even though kids learn from their parents, I don't know how old his kids were, but I believe they were on the younger end. So, and eventually they would have had their own thoughts. But racism is taught. It's not a disease. It's not a virus. But some people say
it's not something you're born with.
Yes, it's not. But some people say it is a virus. Racism is a virus, but I don't believe it's a virus. It's taught. It's taught. It's not in your blood. Racism is not in your blood. It's something that somebody has to tell you how to feel. Because I ain't never heard or seen a kid say, "Oh, this such kid. Oh, I don't want him touching me because he's discolored." Kids don't know this stuff. Kids are innocent, and parents and teachers and influencers and the internet and the TV teaches these kids how to do these type of things. As far as if you want to go down that road, I don't want to go down that road, but it can lead from racism. I don't even know the word it's called, but you know what I'm saying. Bigots, or I'm talking about how kids talking about, oh, I want to be transformia or something. I don't even know the word, but kids do what they are taught. Now, some kids might grow up different. That happens, but I believe in more into the nature than the nurture, because if nature teaches people, all you gonna know is about surviving and living. But the nurturing, that's when it comes like, oh yeah, you hate these people, you do this, you learn this, you learn that. They teach that kind of stuff.
Now, I agree with that, man, because there's plenty of famous examples. Like, for those who know the famous actress Jane Fonda, her father was a brilliant director back in the day. And she told a story on a black podcast recently about how, she said nigger in front of her father. And she said her father never put her hands on her. It was the only time her father ever slapped the shit out of her and told her, don't you ever say that word ever. Like, to your point, Rose, that's taught. That is a white man who feels like that is an ugly, disgusting word that refers to black people in a negative connotation. And I'm going to let my kids know that is not right. Like, a lot of white people, the issue is y'all want to teach our kids to be colorblind. Y'all need to teach our kids to see color. Y'all need to teach our kids that, there are people that will treat your friends differently and other people differently because of their race and ethnicity. Like, y'all need to watch some of these movies and be with your kids and be like, that man was not doing nothing but just living his life or just trying to fight for a better cause. And the problem is, y'all try to brush down on the word, and then y'all try to teach our kids shit that's negative. And then we get stuff like this because to what C said, Charlie Kirk's wife said, I'm going to keep his legacy going on. So what, you going to raise your daughters to be racist?
That's basically what she said.
You going to raise your daughters to hate niggers? You going to raise your daughters to feel like that he died because of black people? Because I've never, like, this is the crazy shit about being black in America. And if for anybody who's white listening, please listen to what I'm about to say. This is what's so crazy about being black in America. We ain't killed a nigga. We ain't sent no money to kill Charlie Kirk. We wasn't even thinking about Charlie Kirk in Utah. This nigga died in one of the whitest states in the country by the hands of a white person that came from a well-to-do family, and in less than 24 hours, white people are threatening HBCUs. And I feel like 50 Cent. What did I do?
And now ask me the question that everybody want to know. Did I know who Charlie Kirk was?
Did you know who Charlie Kirk was, Jose?
No, I didn't.
And let me keep it real. Most of my black friends had the same response. MGH didn't really know who he was like that. Like, most black people, this nigga was not even a figment of their imagination. He did not exist. And that's what's so crazy about this situation, because white people are mad that we're indifferent. This nigga was nobody to us. Like, we saw what happened, and then the internet's undefeated. That's the beautiful. As soon as he died, within 10 minutes, people start posting, well, he said this, he said this, he said that to protect guns rights, some people just have to die by gun violence. And that's just the cost of doing business. So if I was to say Charlie Kirk passing away is just the cost of doing business for people like C's who own a gun, why am I wrong for saying that? Because that's what Charlie Kirk said.
He died for that.
Because y'all didn't even talk about the shooting that happened in Colorado the same day as Charlie Kirk.
At a school.
Me and Rose, we just shed tears a week ago talking about the Minnesota school shooting. Y'all haven't even talked about Melissa Hortman and her husband and her dog, which was Minnesota lawmakers, where people broke in their house, murdered them, and killed their dog. Y'all didn't even talk about that. Like, the country, there was no half, like, hanging the flag halfway. And there was no moment of silence at these sporting events.
And they killed the dog.
Yeah, they killed the dog too.
Ain't nobody mad about that.
Ain't nobody. But Peter, them motherfucking people who love dogs, they ain't come out and do no protests and marching, no shit like that. None of that shit happened, bro. The Yankees, the way y'all gave Charlie Kirk a moment of silence, y'all ain't give them a moment of silence. I don't know if Charlie Kirk was from New York. Man, I saw a list of NFL teams that did not give him a moment of silence. It was the Colts.
It was a lot of
sorry Vikings, teams. The Ravens, the Lions, and it was one more team. I can't think of the team because, like you said, it was the Bengals. And the first thing I thought to myself, I'm ashamed to be a Falcons fan. Like, I was ashamed that the Falcons' name was on that list. And the second thing I thought, man, that's why I fuck with goddamn Lamar Jackson, bro. Because, like, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Then I thought about, that's why I fuck with Joe Burrow, because even though he white, every time he gets a chance to talk on stuff like for black people, he says the right fucking thing, man. Like, yo, it's crazy.
He paid the curse. That's why he always hurt, I guess.
Yeah. hey, man, the Illuminati got him. They say you don't want to support white supremacy, then we not gonna let you have a full healthy career, man. You gonna have years where you on the IR, dog. That's your price to pay, dog.
All I want to know is how Tom Brady felt, because that's all I want to know.
Oh, Tom Brady probably felt sad too.
I know
he's a
he
Trump
did.
supporter, so
I know he did.
You know, he probably felt sad. Yeah, no, Tom Brady a Trump supporter. He friends with Trump.
And it's funny because I know you were saying how all the races and things like the not racist, but the different races of people talk about different things like that. And it's funny because my daughter, I remember when she was in high school, even to today when she's in college, like she had all her black friends came from when she was in middle school. Like she has her close black friends came from when she was in middle school, but when she came to high school, she was one of the smartest persons in the school, and so all her friends were either Hispanic, Asian, white, or Filipino. You know what I'm saying? Some different kind of race.
Yeah.
She had some black friends, but most of her black friends came from when she was younger, and then some of her black friends now came from when she started working.
Yeah.
After high school. But even in college, her friends, none of her friends, she has a mixing pot of friends. And her and think about like, and she was like, yeah, I think their parents probably, you know what I'm saying, some of their parents are probably racist. And she was like, yeah, some of them are. And some of her friends told her like, yeah, my parents are racist. But they were smart enough because she was in the smarter group. So they learned about history, about politics and all that. So her friends are like, yeah, my parents are like this, but I don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, they say that about college. They say college creates liberals. And my thing is, ain't that a good fucking thing, man? Like, ain't it good to have compassion for other people, to have understanding for other people, to understand that at the end of the day, we all the same.
But
like,
you have to be smart enough to do that.
You know?
Because dumb people don't do that, though.
Like,
when you're ignorant and you dumb, only thing you believe is what your parents taught you, and you go ride on that, even if you know better than that.
And that's why it's so important to study history and learn, man. Like, I just remember being in college, and I've said this story to MJ multiple times. Like, I remember seeing a post that it was talking about the Holocaust, and it made me think about stuff differently. I remember being assigned certain movies about gay.
Because of the series of it, you got to say it right, the Holocaust.
Yeah, the Holocaust. And I just remember seeing.
You ain't say nothing different when he said different. Said other words.
That's just his accent, man.
Come on, that's his accent now.
And I just remember, you know, watching some movies like the movie Milk, which was about the first openly gay senator that was murdered, and just learning certain stuff like, damn, I didn't know gay people was walking the streets of San Francisco and other places in the country, and people was just beating them to death, including the cops. Like, when I started learning stuff like that, I'm not going to lie, the mindset that I had as a teenager to my 20s, it changed. Like, I could not look at gay people the same way. Like, it was something of like, yo, I'm not gay. I don't condone that lifestyle. But in no world do I think it's okay for somebody to just walk up to a gay person and beat them to death just because they're gay. Like, that's just some ridiculous ass shit to me. Like, I don't think it's cool to walk up to someone that's a Muslim, even though I'm a Christian, and just beat the fuck out of them just because they're a Muslim. And I feel like that's just such a simple concept. But to your point, if you're not learning this stuff outside of the household, like, and you're hearing from your parents all day that they're talking, saying racist shit or anti-Semitic shit or shit about other cultures and stuff like that, you're going to just grow with that mindset. And a lot of times, man, when we get to adulthood, we got to be around the people, man. We got to experience other cultures. We got to experience other people, because I'm telling you, when you around some people, I've sat at a dinner table with an Indian family, like an actual Indian family from India, and even though they ate different food than me and they spoke a different language than me, I realized, yo, they is no different than me and my fucking family.
Yes, it's all about you gotta be educated, man. You gotta be educated, because Cause you can know everything about the world, but if you ain't educated, because education comes with
Wisdom.
and thoughts and critical thinking, and it's like so. Yeah, you might feel a type of way because I feel a type of way about a lot of things, but I also got critical thinking in my head too, though. So I critically think about some things, and some things like, yeah, I might feel this way because I was raised this way, but it ain't really like that.
Yeah, it's not like that, or that's
I ain't
not
gotta
right.
live like that. I ain't gotta live like that. You know what I'm saying?
And I think, man, like one of my last really thoughts, we keep talking about education in colleges. Charlie Kirk made his business traveling to college campuses, spewing hate. And I say that part about traveling to college campuses. We're talking about young minds, man. I just told y'all about how when I was in college, how my mind was developing, and it showed me and it gave me empathy for the people. If you got a 30-something-year-old man going to college campuses with kids that are between the ages of 17 and 22, where they're still trying to understand life for the first time, because a lot of people, this is the first time they're away from home, and you're spewing this hate rhetoric, and you're influencing their mind, you're recruiting them to be part of your cult of hate. And that's why someone like him was so dangerous, because that's what they're doing. That's the reason why you don't see someone like Farrakhan being allowed to speak on college universities. You know, you don't see a lot of pro-black people being allowed to speak on college universities, because the powers that be don't want that.
But you know who they do allow to speak on college universities and speak to these young folks?
Who?
Rappers, entertainers,
people that pollute their mind,
all that.
People that's ignorant. You know, people to not make them really think about the systematic racism that they're facing every day and how hard they're having to go through life. You know, and the fact that someone like Charlie Kirk was allowed to speak on these universities and preach the message that he preached, that's why you have so many white people. Because, you know, we talk about racism being taught. A lot of people felt like in 2025, racism should be dead. But as long as you have people that are still preaching racism to a younger generation, it's going to live on. And I'm going to say this for the white people that hear this. It is your responsibility that when y'all see white people saying crazy shit,
y'all got to speak up.
Y'all got to speak up and say no. Because, bro, the fact that white people are immensely sad about the shit that Charlie Kirk said, y'all need to also say, like, yo, bro, he said some fucked up shit. He said some shit that's not fucking cool. You cannot have people of color in your life and feel like the words that Charlie Kirk said was just words when this nigga was saying hate, because a lot of y'all are trying to misconstrue what opinion is versus what a belief is.
Yeah, it's like you can't have cake and either two. But y'all thought I was gonna say cake and eat it too, but no, that ain't what it was. You can't have cake and eat it too.
Yeah, like
you can't have both them hoes. You got to pick one.
You got to pick one, man. And some of y'all be trying to hide behind y'all opinions, bro. Y'all be trying to hide behind that shit by saying a belief is an opinion, man. No, those are two separate things, bro. Like what I think something is and how I feel in my heart is two separate things, and that's the issue, man, with that. Any closing remarks on this, C's?
What happened to actual intellectualism? What happened to actual higher education? What happened to listening to people that actually is their job? They study, they write material, they research with these things and these theories. So now we've gone to a place in America where somebody can just get on a podcast or a forum or Fox News or be endorsed by a certain politician, and what they say is law. It's just if somebody agrees with what you say and you have a likable personality, or you have a specific belief they want to follow, you create a following, you create a cult like following. Like, let's get back to people that actually, like in college. I'm not saying we should have just liberal universities or hey, we should have just right wing. What I'm saying is we should have actually, it's a place where you go to learn to think and you actually fucking think is what I'm saying. So whether it's college, whether it's internet, whether it's your real everyday life, and let's stop letting people that didn't give a fuck about us divided us. I literally have seen a couple people that I haven't seen in years do posts and something I don't agree with. If I don't agree with it, I either block your comment or I just ignore it. I'm not laughing at you. I'm not trolling you. I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker crazy, bro. This motherfucker, like, that's a dumbass statement. But I just move on. So, I mean, it's something as divisive as it's been. Y'all shouldn't have not been making racist threats and reactions the way it is. If you feel like you're getting attacked and you supported that, you're supporting a bigot, a man that basically something basically spoke against me and my family, me and my friends, whether they're white, black, Asian, or whatever. So very, very misleading things. This is an unfortunate situation. It just goes to show you the state of America and where we're at, and basically the state of media. Everybody's being played. That's all I'm saying. Politically speaking, the internet, whether it's TikTok, it's all programming, brainwashing.
Yeah, man. A lot of circumstances is based off of your perspective, because a lot of white people that feel sad for Charlie Kirk and are mad about his situation, y'all didn't feel that way about the United, CEO Healthcare. I mean, the CEO of United Healthcare. And a lot of y'all the main ones supporting Luigi, man. And both of them was flat out murders. Why you got sympathy for one and not the other? Because healthcare affects a lot of you white people. And y'all are mad about that. But racism don't affect a lot of you white people. So y'all just don't care at the end of the day. Moving on to TNT.
God on Mike, tears or no tears. Boom.
Yeah, unfortunately, I kind of mentioned about some African Americans being hung, this week. And we had a young man, Trey Reed, 21 years old. He was found hanging at Delta State University. Seas. Your thoughts?
Tears. Tears definitely for the threats being made against historically black colleges and universities. There's a lot of ones we don't talk about. Smaller ones like Delta State University. I remember back in the day, I used to play with them because I didn't know the team. I just used to play with them on NCAA football. I used to play with random small schools like Rice University, Marshall, all these other schools. And typically black people are not known to be killed in this manner around other black people if we look at things statistically. So read what I'm saying. Basically I'm saying is black people ain't listen to black people. We know what that shit means historically, especially in a place like Mississippi. The location is also another red flag. And it's disgusting. This was planned. This was done by somebody who had a message to say, that had a message that had something to say. And hey, for these people trying to start this rhetoric, it's not going to work. People's eyes are open. There's going to be some fools that fall into that or believe in that thing, but most people's eyes are open enough to be able to see this bullshit. Y'all trying to entice. Y'all be trying to do this shit for over 30 years. You've always had somebody that follow that same damn rhetoric, and it's one of the biggest problems in the nation. Domestic terrorism and white nationalist groups typically, year after year, make the FBI's top priority or top list. They are some of the biggest criminals. And I'm not blaming white people. I'm not saying, hey, somebody white did this. More than likely they did. But the message that you sent and who you did it to and where you did it says a major thing.
I'm gonna say one thing. Whoever did it are probably supporters of Charlie Kirk, President Donald Trump, and they are probably conservatives. Because Trey Reed, African American, and the other young man that was hung, Koi Zatakis, He's not African American, but he was homeless and he's of immigrant descent from another country. And those are the two races that are most affected by people from that rhetoric. It's sad because it's 2025, but it just shows, man, how strong hate can be, man. Of course, I have massive tears because at the end of the day, you know, we should condemn all violence to this nature because there's no reason to hang two young lives like that, you know. And we talked about the HBCUs receiving threats, and, you know, it's just sad that this happened at Delta State University. A lot of this stuff is politically motivated. It's motivated by hate. It's motivated by race. And if you are an African American in the United States right now, especially if you're in the South and you attend a university, be careful when you walk out at night. Be careful when you walk during the day. Make sure you're with friends. And some people are not gonna like this part, man. Like Rose was saying about having diverse friends. Man, you might want to make sure you have friends that look like you around you when you are doing certain stuff. If you're a young black person and you mostly have white friends, you might want to be careful, bro, because a lot of times we don't really know what people are thinking and how they feel about certain stuff, because the honest truth is a lot of us don't have deep conversations about people's political views. So you might just want to be careful, man, because there's been stories over the last couple of years of a black teenage girl dying at a sleepover with nothing but white girls, and those who have been her friends since middle school. You know, stuff like that happens in this country even today. So I got huge tears.
Yeah, I got tears too, because usually, cause I want to say they might be trying to rule a suicide, but I hope not. But lots of times, like it's hard to hang yourself in the tree. But that's what they always try to say. Oh, he did it himself. He did it himself. Man, I got tears, man, because it's hard to hang yourself in the tree. But if you want to hang yourself in the tree, be successful. Don't be a loser and just be handicapped for the rest of your life. If you go do it, do it. Do it right. If you go slice your wrist, don't go sideways. Go horizontal. I hate to teach y'all how to do it, but man, I'm tired of y'all, man. But I got tears for the young man that died, man, because I'm pretty sure that wasn't a suicide.
So moving from one death to another. So popular artist Dave, police officers found a dead body in the trunk of his Tesla because it was impounded. Apparently he's been cooperating with authorities. They haven't ruled him a suspect yet. And I want to say in some reports the body has started deteriorating. I guess I ain't got no tears because it ain't like he been charged yet, and we don't really have details of who it necessarily died and what's going on. It's just a weird situation. Like, it's just weird that somebody killed somebody, because most likely you killed somebody. Most likely you just ain't get trapped in the trunk of a car. So somebody killed somebody, put them in the trunk of a car, and did not think to get rid of the car or some shit like that. It just kind of let the car just get impounded. And then they opened the trunk and was like, oh, there's a dead body here. So it's just a weird situation. I do hope we get more information because, yo, we got people out here just killing people, bro. It's crazy, bro.
I got no tears. I think it was more so body parts. I think I remember reading something. It was actually body parts and they were decomposing. So with that, anytime you got body parts or natural mind thinks, hey man, this was a job, like somebody was trying to off somebody, left them in. And the thing is, it's crazy because the dude's from New York or whatever. He's on tour. His car's in LA. He's on tour out of state. So either somebody stole his car, somebody he knows stole his car, or somebody he doesn't know stole his car. He rented it out, whatever. You know, they got Turo and all these other apps that you can let people use your car to rent. And it's a Tesla, so it's not like uncommon for people to use it, especially cars like that. But the shit is just weird because You smell it. It's just a weird situation, man. And it's like, he's not charged, so apparently there's not enough suspicion for him to get arrested. So it's hey man, like it's like hey, somebody takes a business trip. They tell you and call you, it's like, hey man, we just found your car. Did you know your car was 2 states over? We found your car in North Carolina with this in it. So I mean, it's kind of that situation, but yes, man.
Yeah, man. I got tears too because those are some smart police. Because you know what I'm saying. The trunk of a Tesla's in the front. You know what I'm saying. How do people go rob and kill somebody and put it in the trunk of the Tesla? Like, how they even knew that the trunk was in the front?
It's LA, no. They used to Teslas.
They used the Teslas.
Yeah.
Man, so they used a lot of things.
It would have been Georgia. They still would have been confused.
They would have been confused like a motherfucker. Like, oh, ain't nobody in this truck. We smell it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, ain't nothing back here but a motor, some batteries.
Must be some rotten food in the car or something.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Next time, still a Chevy.
Box Chevy.
Yeah, put them in the trunk. Still a Chevy. Put them in the trunk. They never find them. Take them to the junkyard. They never find them.
And man, speaking of Chevys, man, someone that probably owned a Chevy back in the day, man. Your rapper's favorite rapper, Young Jeezy. He announced that he's gonna have a Vegas residency soon, and he's gonna have an orchestra playing with him, man. Tears of joy, man. It's dope seeing a lot of these black artists the last couple of years get this Vegas residency, from Usher, who's one of our greatest artists of our generation, to 50 Cent, who was during his time period was a very popular rap artist, and to Jeezy, who when we talk about hip hop, we talk about trap. The trap Mount Rushmore is going to have Jeezy on it, and a lot of people can attribute Jeezy and T.I. as two of the main people why trap music became so popular, man. Like Jeezy, he single-handedly fed a lot of strippers because he made so many songs for the strip club. So like, man, hey man, shout out to Jeezy, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm gonna have to see like how long he gonna be in Vegas, because I ain't gonna lie, I probably would enjoy a Jeezy show, man. Because every time I've heard Jeezy has came and done the show in the South, especially in Georgia and in Augusta, I've never heard people say, "Oh, he didn't turn up." It was always, "Nah, he shut it down." And I expect for those who actually like rap music, when you go to that residency, you're gonna be like, "Jesus shut it down."
Definitely, because it's the whole fact that it's a 101 instrument orchestra that makes it even better. But would I want to hear all my songs with the orchestra? No, I don't. So I want to say I got tears. If you gonna be the residency in Vegas, we don't want to hear the orchestra. We want to hear that bass. We want them 808s.
Hear that boom.
We want to hear that thing drop.
That thump.
We want to hear all that. You trying to be something that you trying to aspire to be. I understand it, but you keep catering to these white folks, man. Man, who put you on the #1 charts?
How about this? Do the orchestra when it's mostly a white audience, but if it's mostly niggas, tell the orchestra y'all got the night off.
Y'all got the night off, man. Man, we in Vegas, man. Man, we about to turn up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about
Definitely
it.
got to plan a Vegas trip soon.
I'm serious. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. So, there was a man who got a face tattoo. Now, when you watch the pod, we're gonna post a picture of the tattoo. I'm gonna describe it as best I can, though. The face tattoo, it was like this eye with a lot of demonic symbols all around it on his forehead. And he came home and his grandma kicked him out of the house. I got tears of laughter because I was telling MGH, it's not like his grandma kicked him out the house having a face tattoo, because he had plenty of face tattoos on his face. The issue was this nigga literally had some shit that looked like he was trying to open a portal to the other world. Like he was trying to like literally summon some demons. And the grandma probably being, you know, a black Southern Baptist grandma was like, hell nah, man. Satan, get from beneath me. Get from away from me. And you cannot stay here, boy, because you this is not of God. And I ain't gonna lie, if he would have walked up on me, I ain't even trying to sound fucked up. I would have been like, nah, bro, I can't give you no change. I can't give you shit. Because I just feel like you finna go in the woods and slit a goat's throat and drink the blood or some shit. Because that shit looked demonic on his forehead. So, tears of laughter.
Yeah, man, I ain't got no tears either because old black folks they don't even like no tattoos. Cause you messing up the body of God. You know what I'm saying? Don't put nothing on your body. You don't mess with nothing. And most of my friends don't even have tattoos. Cause I guess their parents are probably like mine. I don't know. Vertiz, you got any tattoos?
No.
C's, you got any tattoos?
No.
None of my brothers have tattoos either. So it's like I think two of my kids have tattoos, but most of my friends don't have tattoos.
Some of the homies got them, but they got them in a place that's normal, like your arm, you know, upper shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
you know, places like that. No, but nothing crazy. I got no tears. You look like a dumbass.
No, a dumbass would have had a dick on his forehead. Nigga, that nigga look demonic.
Either way, they're both stupid tattoos. But you know, grandma came over the house. Oh hell no, baby, you got to get the hell up out of here. If grandma said get the hell up out of here, that means you, man.
I mean, you crossed the line, nigga. Hey man, so speaking of another family matter. So there was a man who I guess he gave his kidney to his wife. They're going through a divorce, and part of the divorce, he says, I want my kidney back, bitch. Man, tears of laughter, man, because that nigga said he hit that ike on her. Y'all remember What's Love Got to Do with It? Hey, she didn't want nothing. Tina Turner didn't want nothing. She said, I just want to keep the name. And that nigga Ike said immediately, nah, the name got to stay. That's my family shit. That nigga was like, if you want to leave, the kidney got to stay though, bitch. If you want to divorce me, I need my kidney back. I can't live knowing that another nigga is dicking you down with a part of me inside of you.
Hey man, say man, I got tears for that too, but I feel them, but I don't, cause you shouldn't have gave that hoe the kidney. If she wasn't down for you, you shouldn't have gave that hoe the kidney. And if you want the kidney back, go get it yourself.
Oh, she got to wake up in the tub.
Yeah, go get it yourself. Go cut it out yourself. If you wanted that bad, go get it.
Yeah, man. No tears, man. That's. Hey, I feel you. Dude. It's like, hey, I'm already giving you the house. I'm giving you the car, but I need that back. So I mean, hey, it's nothing crazy. I mean, you deserve it back, dude. I gave you life, and you want to leave me?
Hey, I don't know what's wrong with that nigga. I don't know what's wrong with this hoes, y'all.
What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with him?
So this man told his homeboy, like a lot of us did when we were single, yo, I got a bitch for you. But this is the twist. Usually you gotta ask your bitch for your nigga. So the homeboy showed up to the spot, the hotel or whatever, was expecting to see this bitch his homeboy said, I got for you. It was his homeboy in a dress and a wig. And apparently, somehow, the homeboy called the cops, and the homeboy that was dressed like a bitch got arrested. We don't know the charges. C's and Rose. What's wrong with these hoes?
What's wrong with these niggas, man? Hey, bro. Like, it sounds like a prank. Until the fact, it sounds like a prank way up until the point they said the man got arrested. So literally his homeboy said, I don't know what type of shit this nigga's on. Lock him up. That's my favorite meme right now. Lock him up. Yeah, you probably do deserve it. Like, there's psychologically something wrong with that nigga. Like, that ain't no prank shit. He probably really tried that dude. Like, come on, like this. That's like some. I think I seen that shit on a cartoon where like it was like their enemy or their professor or something, and it's like hey, Mr. Such and Such, and then you turn around and it's their enemy dressed up as that nigga. So I mean, I've seen crazy shit like that on TV and cartoons, but not in real life. That's some crazy shit, man. And I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have caught a charge because I'm beating somebody's ass over some bullshit.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the dude that dressed up as a woman caught the charge, because if that was me, I probably would have caught a murder charge. If it was me, like, hold on now, like, you say you got something for me, and I come over there and it's you with a wig tooted up, man. Come on, man. It ain't no way that I'm gonna let that slide. Ain't no way. And that the guy he went to jail instead of going to the grave. Not even the grave. I ain't trying to kill nobody, man. I'll take that back, man. I ain't trying to kill nobody, but
It's been a lot of depth to this episode.
I ain't trying to kill nobody, man. I'll take that back, man. I'm sorry, Lord. I ain't trying to kill nobody, but I'm definitely sending him to the hospital. ICU. I see you in the ICU. Your family go see you in the ICU. Cause I ain't coming to visit you no more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, shit crazy, bro. I don't know what's wrong with these hoes, bro. And Rose always tells y'all, niggas can be hoes too. But this nigga probably wanted to be a bitch. So that shit wild, man, because, you know, I've had plenty of homeboys say, yeah, I got a bitch I'm going to try to hook you up with. And I've done the same thing. I've had homegirls do that. I just couldn't imagine if I come to the room and it's just a grown-ass man, especially my homeboy, dressed up as a bitch. Like, I pray to God this was just a prank. But part of me is like, nigga, you probably been wanting to fuck your homeboy.
How's that a prank? You dressing up as a dress.
You know, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like in the black community, like, we don't do pranks like that. See, in the white community, I'm pretty sure plenty of white guys do pranks like that shit. Because I see that online. That's what's kind of hard for me, because it's like, I want to hope it's a prank. But at the same time, more likely, you probably been looking at your homeboy when y'all been drinking. And
it's not a prank. It's an excuse.
I had a homeboy who told me a story about a nigga who he used to talk to all the time and he was cool with. And a nigga hit him up one night and said, I just want to suck your dick. Like,
man,
nigga, you probably gay, dog. The homeboy's probably gay.
As a joke or just
the sucking the dick part?
Yeah.
Nah, that was a real life situation the homeboy told me, man.
Wow.
So the dude was hanging with him?
Yeah, this was his homeboy.
Man.
But you want to sucking the dick part?
No, he said the hanging with him, that was his homeboy. And the homeboy said that.
Nah, he was texting him. He was texting him.
In certain circles,
you know,
in certain circles, like cops and military, you do gay jokes. I mean, but nobody take that shit seriously.
It was kind of
that's some bullshit.
It was kind of homeboy, like, but it was more like a coworker. It was like more like a coworker. But yeah, that shit actually happened. I had a homeboy tell me a story like that. So it's like, yo, this nigga could have been looking at his homeboys and thought that, you know what, I always wanted to get dick down by my homeboy.
No.
Let me see if he don't. I'm just saying, that's the only thing explanation is. So why else would he dress up as a bitch and trick his homeboy like that?
Because he was gay.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only explanation is he wanted to get dick down.
That's what I'm saying. There ain't no damn prank.
It wasn't no prank.
I mean, I pray it's a prank. I pray it's not no, you tried to entrap your nigga into some boosie.
It wasn't no prank.
That's it. Echo that.
Moving on to the final topic of the night, man. So we talked about the Charlie Kirk situation, you know, earlier, and we talked about a lot of other politically motivated stuff. You know, so sticking with the theme of politics, voting has been an important process in this country since its inception. Every president has been basically elected, except for the very first president. So with that being said, there was an old clip that was resurfacing of Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall having a discussion on the Arsenio Hall show, where Eddie Murphy just pretty much had the sentiments of a lot of black people in America. I don't vote. I just pray. I just try to be a good person. I go to work and make money. I don't feel like the voting process makes a difference. I don't feel like it's important. Like, y'all can do that shit, but it's not for me. And then, Arsenio Hall talked about why it's important to vote, especially as black people, how voting can make a difference. And it was a back and forth about, does voting really make a difference? Everyone at this table is a registered voter, and we vote for the most part in all elections. Whose side are y'all on in this debate? And what do y'all think about the debate that was happening?
Yeah, I think I'm on Arsenio Hall's side because all the listeners should already know that though, but I know this episode happened, I want to say 25, 30 years ago. I wonder if Eddie still feels that way because as far as I know, Eddie said, I'm a good person. I try to do the right things. But as far as I know, Eddie, you ain't been doing it the last 25, 30 years.
Being a good person?
Yeah. You haven't been being a good person. You got caught with trans people and
He said he just was giving that person a ride.
And act like you ain't know it was a trans. You made multiple single mothers and single kids. You also, I don't know this for a fact, but I think your wife now is a white woman. So I understand why you said what you said. Because Arsenio Hall, I don't think none of that stuff ever happened to him. So I understand why you said what you said because, yeah, you one of the most funniest people in the world, but you also one of the most funniest coons in the world too. But I still love you and I still respect you because all your old movies are great. And so you got new movies still coming out. I'm still going to watch. But don't act like you for the people when you ain't. Because obviously you ain't because you part of the people that making people statistics. Doing things that Malcolm X would not agree with. So I'm gonna let the boys talk about it. I'll be back on the rebound.
So this is one of my favorite clips, man. Not Rick Carlin, my bad. George Carlin. I don't know why I got his two names, but George Carlin has a bit where he's talking about politics, man. He basically says, you're better off going home and beating your dick than you are voting. And he's really a staunch, like, anti-establishment. He was really, like, one of those heads of comedians of that time era. Sometimes I do have those same sentiments about politics. Because if you look at it, we don't live in a modern day capitalist society. We live in it's a combined system where the government's bailing out businesses and businesses are able to buy the government. We see it all the time. I say one of the biggest things, foot stomping, is one of the biggest damn problems in American government is lobbying. Lobbying, if you don't know what it is, look it up. But it has a lot to do with corporations. And if you look at the records, all these corporations are owned by the same people. They're huge conglomerates that are a multitude of industries. And there's a lot of stock trading industry. So it's like, hey, if everything's sold up and a company's big enough that they can affect how people are voting, like what the politicians vote for, or they can pay your paycheck and give them kickbacks, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, whether it's a Republican from Wisconsin or Georgia, or a Democrat from this city. Two-system party. We're one of the few countries that have a two-party system, and it's fucked up. We see it all the time where the president actually doesn't really get elected by the people. He does by the people, but still, we've seen where the electoral college does the opposite of what the fuck people thought it was going to be. My biggest thing about voting is for the people that say it's pointless. I get it. I understand it, and sometimes it feels that way because it's like what these people are doing doesn't affect my daily life till it does. And I think that's one of the biggest arguments where people are going to agree or disagree is like, does it affect me directly? No, most people don't care. Some people, that's fucked up. I'm not letting this going on in my community, my neighborhood, my country. Other people, it's like, yeah, fuck them. They just got to get pushed to a certain point to where they won't accept it anymore. Like I talked about 2 years ago, the French government collapsed about 2 weeks ago, or another week ago. And then I want to say it was one of those Indian countries, is it Bangladesh or Nepal? And then Indonesia. It was either Indonesia, one of those countries in Asia. Two of them. Their country collapsed, and Gen Z literally stormed the Capitol building and palaces of some of these crooked politicians. It started rioting and overrunning them. Somebody put up the One Piece flag. I recently got caught up on One Piece. With One Piece, there's these characters where you got the world government, and you basically got the whole rest of the world is being lied to and manipulated by the world government, and are doing things behind the scenes. But the pirates, or the main characters, there's a bunch of factions that are trying to defeat them. So I mean, and that's kind of the irony of why they put the One Piece symbol up. But I mean, I'll say this: a lot of this shit was sewn up way before any of us were born, or even thought of, maybe even our parents. So I mean, the world's a crooked place. Money runs things. And I'm not saying losing hope, but it's, if you care about it, fight your battle, vote, but don't just vote blindly. If you're gonna do it, know what you're voting for. Know the people you're putting in office. Know the policy that's trying to be put in place, and know the implications. Because there's a lot of, they always try to terms like gerrymandering, where they what was it, rolling the pork? Remember that term in U.S. government?
Yeah.
Rolling the pork. There's the different terms they use, but it's really just about, it's really, what do you want to do? How deep in politics do you want to go? At a minimum, just know your local politicians, what's going to affect you, and like the huge issues you hear about or read about, come across. If you feel strongly about it, man, do something about it. You don't necessarily actually have to vote yourself. You should, but there's organizations you can be a part of, town hall meetings, city hall meetings. I love watching videos of citizens going to their city hall and acting a damn fool, because they're not going for the BS. I love those videos. There's literally one like 2 weeks ago where the dude was like sitting there breakdancing in the middle of the damn city hall meeting. So I mean, I'm not. If I'm gonna lean anywhere, I say right now I don't feel like voting really matters. But I say if you're gonna do it, be informed about it. Just like with anything, be informed about your decision. Know who you're talking about, and pay attention. There's things going on in the world. The world's always been a crazy place, but now even more and more information. Open your eyes. Look at all these things being thrown out, whether it's AI, people getting killed in situations, wars going on in the world, and knowing where our money goes for. Like, one of the biggest ones I can argue with somebody for, some of these politicians and people voting for are literally ran by IPIC or IPAC. It's the American Institution for basically for Israel. It's an organization where they funnel money to Israel. A lot of both sides, both parties, the Republican side and the Democrat side, have gotten kickbacks. And one of my favorite, I just recently found out one of my favorite representatives right now, Jasmine Crockett, even she took money. So they're taking some form of money knowingly and unknowingly. So it's a lot of people that are like, okay, you got funded fundraiser, you got political campaigning money. Well, who to come from? They don't care. They just trying to get in office. So I mean, that's another factor to look at is who's funding you. And then like it also goes to the government letting these different countries, different companies go into other countries and make profit off of even the enemy. Like so, you should be like, oh, China doing business. Like they do big business with China. China is it's a big thing. So I mean, there's a lot of policies and effed up things going around. So I mean, hey, if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, man. I'm looking up the Voting Rights Act, and verbatim, it says a landmark U.S. federal statute that prohibits racial discrimination in voting was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson during the height of the Civil Rights Movement on August 6, 1965, and Congress later amended the act 5 times to expand its protections to enforce voting rights protected by the 14th and 15th Amendments. We have to understand that black people had the right to vote, you know, when the 14th and 15th Amendments came out. Like pretty much after slavery, they could vote. The problem was they just wasn't recognized with that right. And the right wasn't being protected by the state governments. Because a lot of times the federal government would be like, that's just some states' right shit, whatever y'all want to do in Georgia and Alabama, it's perfectly fine. And then we had to fight for that right to make sure we didn't have situations where black people would show up to the voting polls and be asked dumbass questions like, how many blades of grass in this field? Can you name all the U.S. senators and can you name all the Congress people in the country? Like that's why that act had to be created. So with that being said, I can understand the frustration black people have with the voting process because it does seem like sometimes on the federal level, on the national level, that it doesn't matter. Black people will make statements like, what did President Obama do for black people? Like, what policies did he implement that changed black people's lives? You hear the rhetoric a lot that President Obama did more for the alphabet community than he did for his own community, black people. And the honest truth is, and me and Rose have said this on the pod plenty of times, it starts with these local elections, bro. Like, it starts with, if you live in a city, vote in your city elections. Vote in your state elections. Because just in Georgia, we had an election for a new sheriff, and for those who live in the city, in Augusta, you know, we see the impact of that new sheriff already. Like we see the impact that he's having. Now, some people may be for the stuff he's doing, some people may be against the stuff he's doing. But guess what? We had the opportunity to vote to keep the previous sheriff. So if you don't like this sheriff we have now, hey, had you voted like you were supposed to, we potentially could have had the old sheriff and things could have been how it was. Then we look at the governor. Well, you know, we had two people battling for that position the last couple of years. And one person said, I'm going to pay more money to people basically in law enforcement. The other person said they was going to pay more money to teachers. I think everyone deserves more money. They made that very clear. But based on how you voted, we kept the previous governor, and people in law enforcement and law enforcement adjacent, guess what happened to them? They got pay raises. Like, so you'll see the impact of voting if you are doing it at the local levels. And then when you get to the state levels, you see the greatest impact. So a lot of states, and I want to say there was a map, I think it was Oklahoma and it might have been Minnesota. I can't remember exactly. But basically, it's only 2 states in this country that are completely one party. And Oklahoma is all the way red, and I want to say it's Minnesota. Pennsylvania, they all the way blue. And then you look at the rankings for both states, and it's a significant gap in the rankings in terms of healthcare, education, and all that other stuff. Well, at the end of the day, that's why it's so important to vote in the local elections. Because if we have city officials that are, of the same mindset as the state officials, and we have state officials that are the same mindset of the federal officials, now guess what? The policies are easy to get passed for that state. So now guess what? Our state, we don't have to worry about abortion shit. If you're for it or against it, we don't have to worry about gun shit. If you're for it or against it, we don't have to worry about a lot of the bullshit that some of these other states have, because we don't have people bickering and fighting amongst each other. We have people working together. So when Rose has told y'all for the last couple of years, focus on the local elections, what he's really trying to tell you is if you only vote every 4 years, even if you get the president you want, you might not have the city officials you need to back that president. You might not have the senators you need to back that president. You might not have the Congress people you need to back that president. So you might not see the changes in your state. But guess what? Other states who are participating in that lower level process, they're seeing the changes that that particular president is trying to implement. And that's why it's so important to be consistent with voting. Like, it may seem like, I don't want to have to drive around the corner to go to this church or go to this community center. But you have to think about, historically, Black people have walked miles to go vote. Black people had to do plenty of things that we don't even have to imagine doing to go vote. And you're telling me you can't take a 5-minute drive and stand in line for 30 minutes when in 2025, you can be on your phone that whole time for 25 minutes and watch videos and listen to music? When I voted in the past election, I literally had just got off work. I got dropped off and everything, and I'm literally listening to a podcast while the whole time I'm standing in line. And then when we got inside, they said put the phones up. Man, this random white dude, he had just got off work too. As basically like a mechanic or something, like working at a plant. And we just started having a conversation. Before I knew it, it was time for me to go vote. I was there for 30 minutes, but it went by faster than I even was thinking, because I just wasn't really paying attention to that. And so some of the excuses I hear about why we don't vote, to me, they're not valid. Like, we got the time, we're allowed to do it, go ahead and do it, and participate in the whole process. I feel like if you feel like it's a waste of time, this is the only time I ask. For 4 years, participate in every part of the voting process. And if you feel like it just still was a waste of your time, do what you want to do. But if you're not consistently actually being part of the process, then you don't know if it's a difference or not. Rose sees?
Final thoughts?
Yeah.
Just recently, Felicia, the Emmys just came on this week. Seen clips of Felicia Rashad speaking on her son, her TV son. And then recently his wife just announced a charity going to, I don't know specifically what the charity is doing, but they announced that also. So, rest in peace to a Titan, man. Malcolm Jamal Warner, definitely a Titan. And then also rest in peace to one of the Titans. A lot of actors I respect and I like their movies, spoke about him, and I also like a lot of his classics. A lot of movies I had to go back and look up. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. Actor and a filmmaker, man. Robert Redford just passed away. For you baseball fans, The National. Rest in peace, man. But he's been some classics. The Sting, Richard Cassidy, Sundance Kid. Matter of fact, recently, if you want to just put a picture to the name, he played in Winter Soldier. He was the guy in charge of Hydra, pretty much. Or like one of those characters, but he was in the Winter Soldier. So rest in peace.
Yeah, man. My final thoughts. I just want to thank everyone that told me happy birthday this past weekend. The people that came and hung out with me for my birthday. You know, it's when you get older, you just think about the things that you are blessed to have. You know, you're blessed to have decent health or good health. You're blessed to have a job where you pay all your bills and have fun. You're blessed to have family that you love and care about and it's still there. And you're blessed to have friends. And a lot of times, you know, we are just so concerned about what just goes on in our household. And a lot of us don't really take the time that are you really grateful and appreciative for the friends that you have in your life? And I try so hard to be appreciative for my friends. I don't have like 10, 20 friends, but I have like 5, 6 friends that I really feel like can be there for me if I need them, are very loyal. And yeah, I was very thankful that I got to spend time with some of those friends and I got to talk to the other friends that I could not spend time with because as you become older, everyone has a life, everyone has a family. But if you're real friends, you'll make time for the people that, you know, you truly care about. You're not going to let work, you're not going to let family stop you from associating with people that you actually care about, man. So, in the words of Abby and Rakim, peace.
And y'all can catch it at the next light. We in traffic. And I'm back quiet.
Mr. DJ Rose, Vert Jeezy, and C's, welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. For sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and sell our land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell our land. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.